Of all the opportunities my life has given me, and I have been blessed with so many, I am most proud of having once been a soldier. The lessons from my time in uniform about trust, responsibility, duty, judgment, and loyalty to your fellow soldier. These I have carried with me throughout my life.
An emotional moment for former Senator and now former Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel. Yesterday, President Obama, Vice President Biden, and top military brass joined for that ceremonial goodbye to Mr. Hagel. Of course, Hagel resigned under pressure back in November.
Yeah, while serving in the Obama administration, Hagel played a role in overseeing America's transition out of a combat role in Afghanistan. His replacement now is awaiting confirmation by the Senate.
Joining us now, someone else who served in the legislative branch of government and who, like Chuck Hagel, was a soldier. It's our good friend Michael Patrick Flanagan, checking in from Newsmax Washington, now the president of Flanagan Consulting. Somehow I just leave that hanging to say what might have been. President Phil, instead of another Chicagoan who has that job now at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Michael, as a Chicago guy, you get behind the scenes to figure out what's going on. When you look at this forced resignation by Chuck Hagel, how and why did it come about?
I think Hagel had a little bait and switch when he took the job, I'm sorry to say. He was used as what Lenin called a useful idiot, and he didn't realize it. He thought he was going to be given leash to do the things he needed to do. The Chicago guys have a terrific habit, and it's a great CEO practice of bringing in people to do a discrete job and then rotating them to another job and bringing in other people. And they brought in Hagel to give Republican cover to a large downsize of the military, to move us out of Iraq, to move us out of Afghanistan permanently. And now that the president's changed his mind about Afghanistan, that we're going to have a permanent presence there, that he's figured out we have to have a military that's functioning to deal with ISIL and other things, that he needs somebody in there who is not going to, get in the way of protecting his thunder on it, and he's going to bring in a lefty to help out at the Pentagon to make sure that although those distasteful tasks from his point of view have to be done, they'll be done in a way that's in comportment with his view of the universe.
Michael, you mentioned that he was kind of caught up in this bait and switch kind of tactic, but what do you think was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak?
Well, I think it really was the fact that the administration had to have a stronger military. As you see in the president's budget that'll be coming down, there's a large plus up for the military. That's not because the president got religion about the value of having a strong national defense. It's about the practical need that we're going to have to spend blood and treasure to beat back ISIL and to deal with a stable Afghanistan, hopefully, on into the future. You can't have a guy like Hagel or any good, solid Republican often tapped for that job in there. He's got to have somebody who thinks more along his lines and will manage that in such a way as to keep the left happy.
About a minute left in this segment, Michael. Ashton Carter is the designee to replace Hagel. Some military guys give him high marks for his work in the Department of Defense during the Clinton administration. Your take on Ashton Carter?
I think he'll be fine. I think he'll do what needs to be done. Again, he's a new guy in there, and his job is to make sure that the left doesn't erupt on Obama and turn on him, but still get the job done. And that's what Obama threaded the needle to try and make happen. I think this guy will get that done. I think he'll manage to move the military out of its drawdown into a small buildup so that we can do the work that needs to be done. But he won't do it in a sort of meat eater sort of way, as the military likes to refer to themselves. You have meat eaters and leaf eaters, and he'll do it from a leaf eating point of view, but it'll get done.
Interesting. Flora and fauna and cuisine and decision making, all from the colorful language of Michael Patrick Flanagan. Hey, Mike, hang in there with us. When we come back, we want to talk about another transition, specifically what's going on with the job of Attorney General. More with Michael Patrick Flanagan right after this.
You're not Eric Holder, are you? No, I'm not, sir.
So no one's suggesting that you are, but of course, Attorney General Holder's record is heavy on our minds now, and I agree with the chairman about his concerns when the Attorney General refers to himself as the president's wingman, suggesting that he does not exercise independent legal judgment.
Texas Senator John Cornyn, who used to serve the Lone Star State as its Attorney General, questioning the Attorney General designate, Loretta Lynch, yesterday during the first day of hearings to confirm or perhaps deny confirmation of Loretta Lynch.
Yeah, Lynch faced some pretty hard questions yesterday on what kind of Attorney General she would be, and in fact, if she would be different, as you heard, from the man she's replacing. And now we're gearing up for today's round two. So
yep, those hearings continue, and we continue our conversation with Michael Patrick Flanagan, former United States Congressman from the land o' Lincoln, Illinois, although he defeated Rusty, the Ways and Means Chairman, Rostenkowski, back in the day. And Michael, you are a trained attorney. We don't hold it against you. We want you to know that. We think you can give us insights on this. When can Loretta Lynch really say with a straight face she's not Eric Holder? I mean, she basically has the same legal outlook as the outgoing Attorney General, does she not?
Well, once again, you have to understand the Chicago guys. Controlling the forces of prosecution is integral into being able to move forward in the expression of power. So being the president's wingman was his job, and it will be Mrs. Lynch's job as well. She can say it's not, but it is. In fact, even her comments to Cornyn and others were trying to demonstrate that the president's view on these things is supreme, as opposed to Congress, which has the sole power to write legislation, and that she'll enforce it. It's about serving the president, not about serving the law from their perspective, and that's problematic. But having said that, I think she'll be confirmed, and I don't think that there's anybody else that the president would even entertain having in the job that would do anything but that.
So you do, in fact, think she's going to be confirmed, because we've had some guests earlier that they don't think it's going to happen. Do you think she's the best choice for this position?
I don't think the president will give you a best choice, and it has to be a nominee from the president. I think of the universe of good, bad, and other choices, this is a middling choice. Take it and move on. Why
are you so confident that she's going to be confirmed?
The Congress has a great deference to the president in his selections for his cabinet, and I think appropriately so. But I also think that they don't expect anybody better in the wings to be coming along, and this is a great way to try and reach out to the president and show that we can all work together on certain things, and don't think those phone calls aren't being made right now, not on a quid pro quo basis, but on a let's try and get along, let's try and work together basis.
About a minute remains, so 30 seconds, Michael. I spoke about this, and it would seem to me the atmospherics. There are a whole lot of senators. They're afraid if they vote no, they'll be called racist. Is race being used in this realistically by the administration?
Yeah, JD. I don't think I've seen that yet, and that's another harbinger of why she'll probably be confirmed. If they thought that she was going to go down, their tools in the press would be screaming race left, right, and center, and that's unlikely. This isn't a racial issue. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with gender. It has to do with whether or not she's going to serve the law or serve the president. She's made it clear she's going to serve the president, and I think the Republicans don't really have a choice. They're just going to have to put up with a nominee, whoever that nominee is who's going to do that. So, let her be confirmed.
And when I hear you say that, Michael Patrick Flanagan, I think back to Sean Connery in The Untouchables saying, "That's the Chicago way." Michael Patrick Flanagan, as always, your insights and analysis of what's going on in Washington based on growing up in Chicago, we very much appreciate, sir. Well, that's about going to do it for us. Yeah. Ed Berliner waiting in the wings with Midpoint. That'll be followed at 3 Eastern by the Steve Malzberg Show. And then at 6, the Daily Wrap with Joe Concha. For those you see and those you don't, JD saying stay brave, stay free, stay tuned, and thanks for watching.